Alright guys, this is the last part. Yep, we made it to the final part. So, we're going to start off right where we left off, as I always say. And duplicate the layer one last time. Go to Filter, Sharpen. Remember, the Sharpen layer is really important. Actually, before we sharpen, I almost forgot. We're going to really work on depth this SIG, and we really want to make it clear that the wolf is ahead of its background. It's in front, and the background is going to be the background. So we're going to duplicate the layer, go to Blur, Gaussian Blur, and we're going to set it to 1.5, or 1 actually, 1, and then press Enter. And take your eraser brush tool and make it a little bigger, and just erase 88% around right where the focal point is. Make sure it's right on the focal point, and then you can begin lowering your opacity and erasing around more of the effects. Try to unblur more of the C4Ds and the flow of the SIG, and keep some of the SIGs blurred, because it really brings out the flow more, and it makes it look much nicer. Alright, so we're pretty much done with that. We're going to combine these layers, and I'm just going to repeat that one last time. I'm going to blur, Gaussian blur, and I'm going to put it to 2 this time. And I'm going to erase around the main render at about 78%. I'm just going to erase around the eyes this time, just because I want that to be the main focal, and then I'm going to go to opacity, make this about 20, just so this will really bring out the focal. As you can see, the attention is already focused right here. Alright, then now we're going to add our last duplicate. We're going to go to, I duplicated the layer by the way, we're going to go to Filter, Sharpen, Sharpen More. And on the new layer, just play around with the opacity. Make it about, let's push to 30 with the Sharpen More. You can also try the Sharpen tool. It's easier, but I like to Sharpen More just because it sharpens it. Just because I can play around with the opacity more. And we're almost done, guys. Now I'm just going to add one more C4D, and I like to call this my finishing effect C4D, just to add one more nice lighting effect. So I'm going to take the C4D that I previously used in the beginning, just drag it right on top, and I'm going to set this to color dodge. And I'm just going to find a nice point. I like this point on top. And just make it nice. I'm just going to put it right there. Get out my eraser brush. Erase around there. I think it actually does make all the difference. Makes it look a little more sleek. There we go. I like that. Make the opacity 80 or so, whatever. And right about now, I'm just going to add one more lighting effect to render, I guess. I should have flattened out this image because that C4D kind of messed me up. But, whatever. Just to really tame the lighting, because I think the lighting got a little too powerful. I can maybe add in a few more C4Ds to the back. Maybe set it to luminosity so I don't really have to play around with it too much. And I'm just going to add this to the background just to add to the blur effect because I felt like the background was a little empty after I added the blur. And just erase around, do some pro erasing. I'm just going to add one more to the top just because it feels a little empty up there. And I'm doing this pretty fast because I really want to wrap it up this time. Alright, put that to luminosity just so it blends in with the colors, and you're pretty much done. You're done, guys. Congrats. And I'm still not done, though. But you guys can be. Okay. Flatten this image out. And what we're going to do now is add text. You should always add text with your name on it just so you can really take credit for your work so no one else will steal it. Alright. And I prefer adding my text right around here, right next to the render. And that's why I added a little space here, right around there. And what's that good font that I had? And I almost forgot. Let's save this as a PNG, portable network graphic. And I'm just going to do it as wolf flat because this is the flat version of the SIG. And it's pretty much done with no text, so I'm just going to save that. Minimize that C4D since I'm done with it. And let's add some text, guys. I'm going to put the text to white. I'm just going to write a little Moj. Right around there. Make sure not to make the font too big because it doesn't really look that nice when you're making SIGs. Alrighty. And I'm just going to place it. No, I'm actually going to place it right here. And then this is, if you want to really edit the style of the text, you go to Layer, Layer Style, Stroke. I really play around with the text for too long, actually. So I'm just going to do some basic text examples right here. I'm just going to do stroke, set the size to 1, do the color as maybe a nice brownish color just so it'll blend in. And then I make bevel and emboss. That really makes it kind of 3D-ish. And I'm just going to rush through this. I'm actually going to add gradient overlay because those look nice. I should actually change this font color to something darker. That would probably work out. Outer glow. I might set that to black just to bring it out more. Maybe a little stroke, as I said before. Make sure the text really blends in with the background because text can ruin a SIG. That's all I have to say. It can if you don't make the text proper. I'm just gonna make it black and maybe play around with that. And we're pretty much done, guys. The text you really have to play around with, and I can't really be bothered. But yep, in the next video I'm going to show you this sig close up. So just watch the last video. It'll be a full HD video of the signature close up, and I'll give you a link to the picture file on my photo bucket. So tune in.